even when the excitement fades and the motivation disappears. It's called consistency. Think about it. How many times have you started something with all the enthusiasm in the world only to see that fire burn out too soon? What if the secret to achieving everything you want isn't waiting for the perfect moment, but showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it? Stick with me, and I'll show you why consistency is the ultimate game changer and how it can turn your goals into reality, step by step. Let me ask you a simple question. How often do we start something only to stop when it gets tough? How many dreams have you let go of? How many goals remain unachieved because you couldn't stay consistent? Today, I'm here to tell you that the key difference between success and failure isn't talent or luck. It's consistency. It's the ability to keep showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. We've all experienced this. At first, we're excited, full of motivation, enthusiasm, but soon the grind sets in. Life interferes, obstacles arise, and what do? We step back, pause, and tell ourselves we'll get back to it when we have more energy or when things settle down. But here's the truth. That day may never come if you keep waiting for the perfect moment. The secret is to push yourself to stay consistent, even when it feels uncomfortable. Consistency is more powerful than motivation. You need to internalize this truth if you want to unlock your full potential. Motivation is like a spark, bright and exciting. It gets things started, but just like any flame, it fades. What you're left with is either ashes or a steady, smoldering fire that keeps going even when things get tough. That steady fire is consistency. It's not flashy, but it's reliable, and in the end, it's what will carry you to the finish line when others have burned out. Motivation, like mood, comes and goes. Some days you wake up feeling unstoppable, eager to tackle the day with energy and drive, but let's face it, that's not every day. Most days you wake up with a long list of excuses. You'll be tired, sore, maybe the weather's bad, or maybe you had a rough night's sleep. Whatever the reason, motivation will be nowhere to be found. It will abandon you just when you need it most. That's why you can't rely on it. You can't wait for everything to feel perfect. Life doesn't work that way. Things will always get in the way, and if you let them, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of waiting for the perfect moment or mood. Consistency, on the other hand, doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care if you're tired or stressed or if the weather is bad. Consistency says, I don't care how you feel today. We're doing this anyway. And that's where the magic happens. The moment you stop relying on motivation and focus on consistency, you become unstoppable. It's like flipping a mental switch, shifting from waiting for things to feel right to making them right through sheer will and discipline. It's not about being in the right mood to work. It's about making the work non-negotiable. Think about it for a moment. Look at anyone who's achieved greatness. Athletes, artists, business leaders. What do they all have in common? It's not that they're always motivated. No, it's that they've mastered the art of showing up every day, no matter what. They've made consistency their greatest ally, and that's why they're at the top. It's not that they don't face challenges. They do, just like everyone else. The difference is that they've trained themselves to push through, to keep going when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when others would quit. That's the power of consistency. It builds habits, and once those habits are in place, the work becomes automatic. It's no longer about how you feel, it's about staying true to your commitment. When you've been consistent long enough, skipping a workout or taking a day off won't feel like a relief. It will feel wrong. It will feel like you're betraying yourself because that habit has become part of who you are. That's what separates those who reach their goals from those who don't. The successful ones have woven consistency into their lives, making it part of their identity. But make no mistake, building that level of consistency takes time, effort, and discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not exciting. No one is going to applaud you for getting up at 5 a.m. to hit the gym or for staying late at work to finish a project. But that's okay because discipline isn't about recognition. It's about doing what needs to be done, whether anyone's watching or not. Discipline is the muscle that powers consistency. And just like any muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. The more you show up, the easier it gets to keep showing up. And let's talk about showing up for a moment. That's half the battle. Most people quit before they even begin. They talk themselves out of it before making any progress. They let their feelings dictate their actions. But you have to be different. You must show up even when you don't feel like it. Especially then, because those are the moments that matter most. Those are the moments that separate the average from the exceptional. It's easy to show up when things are going well, when motivation is high, but can you show up when things aren't going your way? When it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when you're tired or frustrated? That's the true test. And when you pass that test, when you show up consistently day after day, you begin to build something incredible. You build momentum. Every small action builds on the last one, and before you know it, you have a wave of progress pushing you forward. That momentum is powerful. It carries you through tough days, making it easier to keep going because you've already invested so much time and effort that stopping now feels like betrayal. But here's the thing about consistency. It's not just about putting in the time. It's about putting in the right kind of time. It's about being intentional with your actions. Just going through the motions isn't enough. You have to bring focus and energy to what you're doing, even when it feels like a grind. Consistency isn't about being robotic, it's about being relentless. It's about striving for constant improvement, even when it feels like you're not making progress. And that's another crucial point. Consistency doesn't always give immediate results. In fact, most of the time, the results come much later. It's like planting seeds. You don't see the fruit right away, but if you keep nurturing the soil, eventually you'll have a garden full of abundance. But that only happens if you're patient enough to wait for the harvest. Too many people give up right before the results appear. They plant the seeds, but walk away when they don't see growth. Don't be that person. Understand that consistency is a long game. It's not about quick wins. It's about sustained effort over time. That's why consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation might start you off, but consistency is what keeps you going. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The people who achieve their goals aren't the ones who are always motivated. They're the ones who show up day after day, even when they don't want to. They're the ones who keep pushing even when it's hard. They're the ones who built consistency into their lives, and because of that, they've created habits that carry them through the toughest time. So when the excitement fades, when motivation dies down, and when you're tempted to quit, remember this. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about staying true to the commitment you made to yourself. It's about building the discipline to keep showing up, even when you don't want to, because in the end, that's what will carry you to success. We often convince ourselves that in order to achieve greatness, we must perform grand, extraordinary acts. We trick ourselves into thinking that monumental leaps are the only way to move forward. But this mentality can be paralyzing. It's like standing at the base of a mountain, looking up at the peak and feeling overwhelmed by the sheer size of it. The enormity of the task makes it feel impossible to even start. So we hesitate, we wait, we make excuses. We let fear and doubt take over because in our minds, we've already failed before taking the first step. But here's the truth. Success is not found in massive life-changing moments. It's built in the small daily actions that seem insignificant in the moment. It's not about giant leaps. It's about the tiny, incremental steps that may seem too small to matter, but over time, they add up to something extraordinary. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, for that big break or stroke of luck to push them forward. But if you wait for those monumental moments, you'll stand still forever. What you need to understand is that small steps, those little moves that seem insignificant, are what lead to big results. Picture climbing that mountain, not by leaping or running, but by placing one foot in front of the other. With every step, no matter how small, you get a little higher, a little closer to the top. You won't always see your progress day by day. Sometimes it feels like you're stuck. But when you look back after months or years of consistent effort, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. The key is consistency. It's not about making one big effort and hoping it carries you through. It's about showing up every day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Think of it like planting a seed. For days, weeks, maybe months, You won't see any growth. You'll water it, nurture it, but nothing will appear. But below the surface, roots are growing, preparing to support the growth that's about to emerge. That's what small steps are like. You might not always see the results immediately, but that doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Look at the stories of the successful people you admire. They didn't wake up at the top of their game. They didn't become the best in their field overnight. They took small, deliberate steps every day, often for years, before they saw the significant results everyone notices. And that's the truth. People see the end result, the glory, the accolades, the fame, and the fortune, but they rarely see the countless hours of hard work, the sacrifices, the setbacks, and the failures that paved the way for that success. Those small steps may not be glamorous. In fact, they often feel tedious. It's not always fun to wake up early, stay late, or do the same thing day in and day out, but that's where the magic happens. It's in the repetition and the grind that momentum builds. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you've created a habit, a rhythm. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it keeps moving, it gathers more and more snow until it becomes massive and unstoppable. This is what happens when you commit to taking small steps. Too many people give up because they don't see immediate results. They want shortcuts and quick fixes. But the truth is, anything worth having takes time. Real, lasting success isn't built on shortcuts. It's built on persistence, resilience, and the willingness to keep going, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Because here's the thing, small steps lead to big results, but only if you keep taking them. The moment you stop, you lose momentum and you're back at square one. It's easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing immediate returns on your effort. It's tempting to ask, what's the point? But that's the moment when you need to dig deep. When you need to remind yourself why you started in the first place. You didn't begin this journey because it was easy. You started because you had a goal, a vision of where you wanted to be. And that vision doesn't come to life by sitting back and waiting for something to happen. It comes to life through action, small, consistent action. You have to embrace the process. You have to fall in love with the journey, not just the destination, because the journey is where you grow. The journey is where you're tested and where you learn what you're truly capable of. Each small step is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can do this, that you have what it takes. And when the big results finally come, and they will, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't one giant leap that got you there. It was the accumulation of all those small steps, each one building on the last, creating a path that led you to your goal. And let me tell you something else. Those small steps build character. They teach you discipline. They teach you patience. They force you to develop a work ethic that will serve you for the rest of your life. Because if you can commit to the small steps, if you can show up every day and put in the effort, no matter how small, then there's nothing you can't achieve. Success isn't about luck. It's about preparation meeting opportunity. And preparation happens in those small moments, in the daily grind, in the tiny, seemingly insignificant steps you take when no one is watching. So don't underestimate the power of those small steps. Don't get discouraged when progress feels slow, because every step you take is moving you closer to your goal. Every step is building momentum. Every step is laying the foundation for the big results that are coming your way. You might not see the finish line yet, but trust that it's there. And the only way you're going to reach it is by taking one step at a time. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the stars to align or for someone to give you permission to start. Take that first step today, no matter how small it may seem. Then take another one tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. Keep moving forward, keep building, keep striving, because when you do, you'll look back one day and realize that those small steps have led to something far greater than you ever imagined. Big results don't come from big leaps. They come from small, steady, consistent effort. And if you commit to that, if you commit to taking those small steps every day, then success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. When you hit that wall, the one where your body aches, your mind is exhausted, and every fiber of your being is telling you to quit, what do? That wall isn't just physical exhaustion or mental fatigue, it's something much deeper. It's the embodiment of every doubt, every fear, and every excuse that's ever held you back. It whispers in your ear, you can't do this. You're not strong enough, it's too hard. That's the voice of resistance. And resistance is universal. Every person who's ever tried to achieve greatness has faced it. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent or luck. It's the ability to break through that wall. When it stands in front of you, there's no avoiding it. The wall will come. It might appear when you're chasing a dream that feels too big, when you're working on a project that seems overwhelming, or when life just seems to throw more at you than you can handle. But if you want something bad enough, you've got to dig deep and confront that wall head on. And let me tell you, breaking through isn't about brute strength. It's about resilience, grit, and the willingness to keep going, even when everything inside you is screaming to stop. That wall is made of doubts. Every what if that has ever crossed your mind stacks up like bricks in front of you. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if they're right and I don't have what it takes? Doubts can paralyze you. They can make you turn around and walk away before you've even tried. But here's the thing, those doubts are not real. They are illusions, shadows of your insecurities, reflections of your fear. And fear is temporary. The pain of failing might sting, but it fades. The regret of never trying, though, that lingers. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is the most insidious part of that wall. It will masquerade as caution, as common sense, as logic. It will tell you that you shouldn't take that risk, that you're not ready, that there's too much to lose. But fear has one job, to keep you in your comfort zone. And your comfort zone, that's what's holding you back. Growth, progress, and success don't happen in comfort. They happen when you step outside of it, when you face that fear head on and say, not today. And then there are the excuses. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. We're all guilty of making excuses. Excuses are easy, convenient, and comfortable. They let you off the hook and make it okay to stop, to take it easy. But excuses are just lies we tell ourselves to justify not doing the hard work. And when you allow excuses to build up, they become part of that wall, making it taller, thicker, and harder to break through. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it, the wall is there, but how do I break through? The answer is simple, but not easy. Consistency is the hammer that breaks down that wall. Not one swing, not two, but day after day, hit after hit, showing up even when you don't want to. Showing up when it's hard, when it's painful, when you're tired, when you'd rather do anything else. That's how you break through. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not the highlight reel that people see. It's not the big moments of victory. It's the grind, the sweat, the perseverance when no one is watching. It's the alarm going off at 5 a.m. and dragging yourself out of bed when all you want to do is hit snooze. It's staying late, putting in the extra hours when you'd rather be relaxing. It's making the choice day after day to push a little harder, to go a little further, to keep going, even when there's no immediate reward in sight. Let me tell you something else. Consistency is not just about effort. It's about belief. You have to believe that the wall can be broken, because if you don't, you've already lost. If you approach that wall thinking it's too high, too strong, too tough to break through, then it will be. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and what you believe shapes your reality. If you believe you can break through, you will. If you don't, you'll turn around at the first sign of resistance. When that voice in your head gets loud, and it will, you have to make a choice. Are you going to listen to it, or are you going to fight back? Because that voice is just another part of the wall. It's your insecurities, your fears, your excuses trying to convince you that it's okay to stop. But your commitment, your desire, your hunger for more has to be louder. You have to drown out that voice with the sound of your own determination. Every time you push through the pain, every time you go beyond what you thought you were capable of, you chip away at that wall. And every time you do, you come out stronger on the other side. You start to realize that the wall isn't as solid as it seemed. It's not as impenetrable as you thought. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome makes that wall weaker and you stronger. One day you'll look back and realize that the wall wasn't really there at all. It was just an illusion, a barrier you put up in your own mind. The wall is a test. It's there to see how badly you really want it, to see if you're willing to go the distance, to endure the struggle, to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to quit. Most people stop at the wall. They make excuses, let their fears take over, and walk away. But you're not most people. If you were, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be standing in front of that wall contemplating how to break through it. You'd have already turned around. But you haven't, and that's the first step. So when you hit that wall, and you will, remember this: it's not there to stop you, it's there to challenge you. It's there to see how much you're willing to fight for your dreams, your goals, your future. And if you want it bad enough, if you're willing to be consistent, to push past the pain, to fight through the fear, then that wall will crumble. It has no choice but to fall when faced with unwavering commitment. The pain you feel, the struggle you endure is temporary. It's the price of progress, the cost of greatness, but the pride, the satisfaction, and the fulfillment you'll feel when you break through that wall, that lasts. That's what makes it all worth it. So don't stop. Don't turn around. Don't let that wall be the end of your journey. Break through it. Show the world, and more importantly, show yourself that you have what it takes to go the distance. Because on the other side of that wall is everything you've ever wanted. When we think about success, it's easy to get caught up in the final image, the big goal, the reward at the end. We dream about what it feels like to finally reach the pinnacle, to stand at the top and look down at all the hard work behind us. It's natural to envision that success, the promotion, the recognition, the financial security, the sense of accomplishment. That outcome is what drives so many of us to wake up each morning and put in the effort. It's the light at the end of the tunnel that keeps us going. But there's a fundamental truth that too many of us forget. The outcome isn't everything. In fact, it's just a small part of the story. What truly matters, what prepares you for the outcome, is the process. You see, we are trained to chase outcomes. From a young age, we're taught to think about the reward, getting the A on a test, winning a trophy, landing a good job, or reaching a particular milestone in life. But here's the thing: if you're only focused on the result, you're missing the point. You're ignoring the most crucial part of success, the journey that gets you there. The journey is where the growth happens. It's where the lessons are learned, where character is built, and where the real work takes place. It's easy to get impatient. We live in a world where everything is about instant gratification. We want things now. We want the shortcuts, the hacks, the quick solutions to our problems. But the truth is, there are no shortcuts to real success. There is no fast track to greatness. The process cannot be bypassed. It's the grind, the day-to-day effort, that consistency that builds the foundation for success. The outcome may seem glamorous, but it's the process that truly transforms. Think about it this way: the outcome is a moment, a brief snapshot in time. It's the moment when you achieve what you set out to do. But that moment is fleeting. It passes quickly. And once it's gone, you're left with something far more lasting: the process. The process is the long stretch, the journey filled with ups and downs, failures and breakthroughs. It's the sweat, the struggle, the late nights and the early mornings. It's the sacrifices you make, the hard decisions, and the challenges you overcome. And that process is where you find your true strength. That's where you develop the skills, the mindset, and the resilience to not only achieve success, but to sustain it. Success doesn't just come to those who want it. It comes to those who are willing to put in the work day in and day out, even when the result seems far off, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It's easy to stay motivated when the goal is within reach. But what about when the goal feels miles away? What about when you're not seeing the progress you expected? That's when the process becomes critical. That's when you have to dig deep and remind yourself that it's not just about the end result. It's about falling in love with the process, trusting that if you continue to show up, continue to put in the work, the outcome will eventually take care of itself. Too often people get discouraged because they're not seeing immediate results. They work hard for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, but when the outcome doesn't appear right away, they give up. They think they've failed because the result isn't there yet. But success doesn't work on a timeline you can predict. It requires patience. It requires faith in the process, even when you can't see the finish line. And that's where consistency comes in. Consistency forces you to commit to the process, to show up every single day, regardless of whether or not the outcome is in sight. It's about putting one foot in front of the